Hello and welcome to the evening news for today, Tuesday, October 28, 2014. I am Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for joining us. In the headlines, recording confirms Glenn Lal engaged in phone tapping. Government says Glenn Lal manipulated recording of Attorney General. Nandlal says history will absolve him. Presidential advisor Navin Chandrapal passes on. Cutlass bandits rob rice farmer. And Guyana looking to increase agricultural exports. Now for the news in detail. We start off by telling you that Glenn Lal's illegal spying on the citizenry, government officials as well as his own staff members was on Monday confirmed by a cell phone recording shamelessly made available by Lal himself and Leonard Gildari, a reporter from a newspaper outfit. The details in this report.
The revelation, which comes just a day after revelations on a similar plot against Commissioner General of the Guyana Revenue Authority, Khurshid Sattar, had a businessman. Evidence to support that claim was provided in a conversation between the Kaichur News reporter and the voice purported to be that of Attorney General Anil Nandlal. In what appeared to be a friendly banter between the AG and the reporter, the conversation was recorded unbeknownst to either of them, and the device apparently seized by Lal, who promptly used the opportunity to make it public. The Kaichur News reporter during the conversation told the person believed to be Nandlal that he believed his boss Lal might be involved in phone tapping. He further implicated Lal after a question was asked about the identity of another reporter who conducted an interview. The conversation was reportedly secretly recorded by the Kaichur News publisher. Lal, in crocodile tears in an obvious attempt to evoke sympathy, told media operatives that he feels threatened by the content of the conversation which he illegally acquired. Rodney James, reporting for the Evening News.
Meanwhile, the Guyana government has slammed Kaichur News publisher Glenn Lal for trying to taint the integrity and image of Attorney General Anil Nandlal by distributing a quote-unquote manipulated audio recording of him and a reporter of the outfit. Rodney James reports.
Government says that to its utter consternation, the public listened to a voice recording and was shocked at what the nation heard. The recording was also broadcasted on social media. It contains a distorted, manipulated conversation between a minister and Leonard Gildari, a reporter from the Kaichur News. It is abhorrent that someone would be so indecent and immoral to manipulate a loose private conversation in such a dastardly way, the government said in a statement. Government says it will not condone this privilege being manipulated to distort and manipulate public opinion about the government minister. There are many ways for a keen listener to discern the said manipulation. For example, a listener to the manipulated conversation would easily recognize that on many instances, the person's voice at the other end of the conversation was inaudible. The government of Guyana cherishes freedom of press, but when private media operatives use the power of mass media to manipulate public opinion, our nation suffers from the negativity. Lal on Monday filed an official police complaint with Deputy Police Commissioner David Balram, in which he accused the Attorney General of being aware of a plot to destroy him and his newspaper. Lal, in his short statement to the police, claimed that he would have received several warnings of the imminent danger that clouds his life. This danger would have also extended to his numerous staff members at his Saffron Street media house. Rodney James, reporting for the Evening News.
Still on that issue, Attorney General Anil Nandlal has pleaded his innocence to the audio tape recording and says history will prove his innocence.
We live in tragic times. When the sanctity of privacy is removed from communications between humans, the human element is removed from human relations, and thereafter man's status is reduced to that of animals. Those were the words of Attorney General Anil Nandlal via Facebook post as he expressed his disgust over the release of a private phone recording. Nandlal reaffirmed the government's position that the recording was indeed manipulated to create a dialogue that is radically different than what was actually said during the conversation. This newscast understands that the recording and the interception of the conversation is illegal and carries grave penalties for any person found culpable of such. The Attorney General contends that he will in no shape or form succumb to the cowardice displayed by the Kaichur News publisher Glenn Lal. It is reported that Lal has in the past blackmailed government ministers in an attempt to have charges dropped against him. Yesterday, Lal filed a police report in which he claimed the Attorney General had knowledge of a plan to kill him and several of his staff. That claim was immediately debunked by government. Political analysts have said that was just another desperate attempt by the publisher to taint the integrity of government ministers and escape prosecution for his many alleged illegal activities.
Working People's Alliance member Dr. Omowale today appeared before the Walter Rodney Commission of Inquiry with further evidence that the then ruling government, the People's National Congress, had in fact plotted against and killed Dr. Walter Rodney. Here's Alexis Rodney with the details.
Omowale's evidence today was grounded in the oppressive political, economic and social atmosphere which he said existed at the time of the PNC's rule. He was being led into evidence by Assistant Commission's Counsel Lachmi Rahamat. The social worker, who was then the WPA's organizing secretary, said he has always been saddened by the way Dr. Rodney met his demise, maintaining that nothing could convince him otherwise that the WPA co-founder was killed by the state.
Was there any occasion during that extended period in which the PNC or Mr. Burnham expressed any condolences, any regrets to the Working People's Alliance?
None that I've heard. There was even derision and stuff that was... No, none that I'm aware of.
But did the derision continue after his death, or that was before?
After his death, even the day of his death.
Would you tell the Commission?
Is that recorded anywhere on the day of his death?
There were leaflets, I believe, that appeared, including, I think, at his house, or in the vicinity of his house. And I know that in political public meetings that we had after that, the PNC had a chant, tick-tock, tick-tock, and things of that nature, ridiculing the Working People's Alliance and suggesting that Walter Rodney met his just desserts and stuff of this nature.
Omowale listed the many incidents which have informed his position. These include the sequence of events involving Dr. Rodney's alleged assassin Gregory Smith, the Guyana Defense Force publicly denying that he was a serving member, and the swift effort of government to whisk him out of Guyana mere hours after the alleged assassination on June 13, 1980. Omowale told the Commission that the Working People's Alliance, particularly Dr. Rodney, was among the hard-pressed opposition of the ruling government. And while Dr. Rodney had no innate interest in taking on the reins of power, he was genuinely interested in teaching the common man about self-emancipation. He said too that Dr. Rodney was of the view that both major political parties at the time, the PNC and the PPP, had embraced the wrong approach as it related to them seeking out supporters. For him it was strictly based on race. And as far as the historian was concerned, Dr. Omowale posited, the WPA leader could not wrap his mind around such concepts. Though blamed for the June 13, 1980 explosion, killing Dr. Rodney, the PNC has up until this day denied that it was ever involved. The notion, too, that the former Army Sergeant William Gregory Smith was used as the medium to carry out the execution plan has been debunked. The blame has been placed squarely at the feet of the historian himself. Reporting for the Evening News, Alexis Rodney.
One news ahead. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is the Evening News. Presidential Advisor on Sustainable Development, Navin Chandrapal, passed on today. The details in this report.
People's Progressive Party civic stalwart and Presidential Advisor on Sustainable Development, Navin Chandrapal, died from cancer early this morning. His son, Robin Chandrapal, told the Evening News that his father passed away this morning around 8 hours. The family said the death did not come as a surprise, since he was diagnosed with stage 4 stomach cancer years ago. The young man explained that earlier this week his father had stopped eating completely. Chandrapal, a vibrant member of the PPPC, served as a government minister for a number of years before being appointed presidential advisor. Chandrapal was battling with cancer for over 1 year, which had required him to receive medical treatment overseas. Already tributes have begun to pour in from the Foreign Affairs Minister, Caroline Rodriguez Burkett, and the Organization of American States. Social activists have also expressed sympathy at his death. Via her Facebook page, Burkett said that Guyana has lost one of her best sons with the death of Chandrapal. Chandrapal served as Minister of Environment, Technology and Sustainable Development under the Barak Jagdeo administration. He also played a pivotal role in the pre-1992 struggle for the return of democratic rule to Guyana. Arrangements are being made for Chandrapal to be cremated this Sunday.
Finance Minister Dr. Ashni Singh on Monday called for a cultural reorientation where governments, businesses and individuals alike rely more on readily available empirical data in everyday decision-making rather than anecdotal opinions. The details in this report.
Dr. Singh was at the time delivering the keynote address at the opening ceremony of the 39th meeting of the Standing Committee of the Caribbean Statisticians and the 24th meeting of the Regional Census Coordination Committee. The event, which was held at the Princess Ramida Hotel, Providence, saw the participation of statisticians from across the region. Mr. Singh said that the Guyana Bureau of Statistics is often inundated with requests from the corporate world for a vast array of data, which serves to inform a variety of future plans.
Too often, in my engagements with the business community and in my engagements in the field with the man in the street, too often I hear anecdotal accounts of what is believed to be transpiring or what is perceived to be happening that oftentimes is so far removed from reality, and a reality that is so well captured by offices such as yours, and that is so well disseminated. You just have to go to the Bureau of Statistics website to be lost by the inundation of data. Unless you're a numbers person, you wouldn't even know where to begin, so much is available.
He also called on the academic community and the media to sufficiently treat with the abundance and available data to better address developmental challenges in the region and to better understand some of the phenomena that are observed.
I want to urge, like I said, a cultural reorientation in our business community and in our households. A greater emphasis on use of data that is available in making the decisions that we face. In our personal lives, in our day-to-day corporate operations, we make decisions and we need to inform those decisions more by the richness of data that is available.
Speaker of the National Assembly, Raphael Trotman, has asked the clerk, Sherlock Isaacs, to fix a sitting of the National Assembly for November 6. This date, he said, will provide for a normal notice period for members of Parliament to be notified and for arrangements to be made for all to be present. The details from Alexis Rodney.
Trotman's request of the clerk comes in wake of Isaacs himself strongly objecting to arguments that the Speaker can convene Parliament when a date was not fixed at the last sitting. He had cited 2 previous attempts by former speakers to have this done, which was strenuously objected to by the clerks. It is not clear whether the clerk has responded to Trotman or has recanted his earlier position. The Alliance for Change has been urging the swift reconvening of Parliament, particularly to deal with the no-confidence motion it had tabled last August against the government. However, Trotman is proposing that the House should proceed with matters that were under the agenda and, if need be, add new ones. The Speaker has gone ahead in writing the leaders of the 3 sides in the House, informing them of his advice and interpretation of the Standing Order, which deals with the reconvening of Parliament, and also his instructions to the clerk to fix the next sitting. In his letter to Prime Minister Samuel Hines, leader of government's business, Opposition Leader David Granger and AFC Leader Kemaraj Ramjatan, Trotman recalled that at the last meeting of the Parliament Management Committee on Wednesday, October 15, the issue of the date for the resumption of sittings of the National Assembly had come up, and it was unanimously agreed that government and the opposition chief whips will continue in their efforts to agree on a date. However, recent communication with the whips led to the view that the positions are intractable and that the possibility of a date being agreed upon soon is unlikely. However, Trotman said that this cannot mean that the National Assembly cannot be convened unless by agreement, especially where such agreement appears elusive or even impossible. For the evening news, Alexis Rodney.
Bandits on Monday night robbed the number 57 village quarantine Burbies family of cash, jewelry and a shotgun. In a release, police said that about 21 hours on Monday, rice farmer Joshua Budnarain, aged 59, was in the yard of his residence with his wife and 2 friends when they were held up by 5 men, 2 of whom were armed with a firearm and cutlass. The perpetrators took away Joshua Budnarain's licensed shotgun along with $200,000 and a quantity of jewelry and escaped. Investigations are in progress. More news still ahead. Stay tuned. Welcome back. This is the evening news. President Donald Ramatar on Monday said he's pleased with the level of alertness for the Ebola virus at the Chedijagan International Airport. More in this report.
President Donald Ramatar on Monday visited Guyana's primary port of entry to inspect preparations to address the medical requirements of any air traveler suspected of being infected with the deadly Ebola virus. He also praised efforts being made to address any possible Ebola cases locally. He said he was constantly being briefed on developments in the health sector, and Ebola is a major concern for the government. The health, transportation and security sectors and other stakeholders are involved in the effort, the president said. Recently, President Ramatar addressed the nation and called for broad-based support from all stakeholders to help to prepare for the fight against any possible Ebola outbreak. Many have heeded this call, the president said, including political opposition. The main purpose of his visit to the facility was to check the response of the government structures to make sure they are fully ready and taking all precautions to try and keep this disease out of Guyana. In terms of cost, the president said that government will do whatever is necessary to protect citizens and expressed the hope that any requested budgetary allocations would not be cut by the political opposition. The ongoing preparations, Health Minister Dr. Barry Ramsaran stressed, were an all-Guyana national effort. Hundreds of persons have already received training to deal specifically with any suspected Ebola cases. Royden James, reporting for the Evening News.
Agriculture Minister Dr. Leslie Ramsamy says a number of challenges will have to be overcome as the ministry looks to ramp up export of local agricultural produce and products. Here's more.
One of the national agricultural strategies is to increase export of local agricultural produce. However, there are many barriers the nation needs to overcome before making this potential a reality. Speaking at a training workshop for exporters and potential exporters, Agriculture Minister Dr. Leslie Ramsamy made known some of the barriers the nation needs to overcome.
In trying to fulfill our ambition as a major exporter of non-traditional products, both fresh and agro-processed products, Guyana will have to overcome a number of barriers. One of which is that Guyana's agriculture must follow certified practices throughout. Good agriculture practice is not an option that we could choose to either practice or not. Good agriculture practice is an imperative.
He emphasized that Guyana is on an unfair playing field when it comes to the export of agricultural produce, not only with Europe and North America, but CARICOM.
It is my view that when it comes to non-tariff barriers and the trade system, there is no equity. The powerful countries and some of the stronger developing countries develop systems that work against trade. And I am not apologetic in saying that Guyana has been a victim of unfair trade practices, that Guyana has been a victim of non-tariff barriers, not only in Europe and other countries, but certainly within CARICOM itself. And the travesty of that is we in CARICOM talk about a free market system, free trade system. We talk about a single market in the Caribbean. But that's more political rhetoric than reality.
The workshop, which was organized by the Guyana Marketing Corporation, sought to ramp up export of local agricultural produce.
We need younger people to join that small band that have kept export alive.
Royden James reporting for the Evening News.
Meanwhile, the Pesticides and Toxics Chemical Board today launched a 3-day training program for farmers to learn proper measures in dealing with agricultural chemicals.
A 3-day training program has been organized by the Pesticides and Toxic Chemicals Control Board, PTCCB, to teach farmers a prudent management of dangerous chemicals. PTCCB's chairman, Dr. Leslie Monroe, said the objective of the workshop is to provide farmers with the appropriate knowledge so that they will be better prepared when using these chemicals.
The aim of agriculture is to provide consumers with safe, wholesome food, but at the same time, the exercise is a profit-making one. So you're trying to do two things. The farmer needs to make a profit as a business venture, and during the process of producing either crops or livestock, we are at times faced with pest problems, which must be managed. And more often than not, people resort to the use of some chemical pesticide for the management of those pests. What this training course would do is to also give you the various options with regards to management of pests and not rely wholly and solely on the use of pesticides. But we realize that pesticides are very important because they're very useful products, but we have to remember too that these things are poisons. Therefore, they must be handled with particular care.
Meanwhile, Agricultural Minister Dr. Leslie Ramsamy paid a tribute to the country.
Welcome back. This is the evening news. In the region, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro announced on Monday that he would conduct a thorough purge of the country's police force. The president said police officers had taken part in the murder of governing party lawmaker Robert Serra this month. Maduro said he would name a presidential commission to revolutionize the police and fix everything that's wrong with it. Internationally, Nigeria says it is still holding talks with Boko Haram 2 weeks after the government said it had agreed a truce with the Islamic militant group. A presidential spokesman said he was optimistic that something concrete and positive would come out of the talks. There has been no comment from Boko Haram, and violence in northern Nigeria has continued. More than 200 schoolgirls are still being held by the group, which has been fighting an insurgency since 2009. This is the evening news. We now take a look at your bridge reports. The Demerara Harbour Bridge is expected to be closed from 8 hours 30 on Wednesday, October 29 for a period of 1.5 hours. And the Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed from 7 hours 35 on Wednesday, October 29, also for a period of 1.5 hours. Join us after the break for sports, sponsored by Marcorp. This is the evening news.
Every day presents a few more challenges. Keeping your business running shouldn't be one of them. That's why we work every day towards ensuring your overall satisfaction. With over 100 skilled technicians and engineers equipped with the tools and skills to help you do more. With the largest parts inventory in Guyana, over 10,000 line items readily available. Driven by your success is not just a set of words to us. It is a code by which we live. That is why we are proud to say that we are
Are you looking for a very good used Caterpillar machine at the price you want to pay? Come to our Providence East Bank Demerara Equipment Yard to inspect the machines for sale by tender from October 1st to 31st, 2014. See press or visit us on macworpcat.com for more info.
Welcome back. This is the evening news. We now take a look at sport, but first the headlines. Samuels disputes Bravo's version of events. Names of GFF Normalization Committee revealed. East Coast teams shine on final night of Berbice Cup, and Guyanese impress at IGG's second leg. Of course, this podcast comes to the kind compliments of Marcorp.
Are you looking for a very good used Caterpillar machine at the price you want to pay? Come to our Providence East Bank Demerara Equipment Yard to inspect the machines for sale by tender from October 1st to 31st, 2014. See press or visit us on macworpcat.com for more info.
Every day presents a few more challenges. Keeping your business running shouldn't be one of them. That's why we work every day towards ensuring your overall satisfaction. With over 100 skilled technicians and engineers equipped with the tools and skills to help you do more. With the largest parts inventory in Guyana, over 10,000 line items readily available. Driven by your success is not just a set of words to us. It is a code by which we live. That is why we are proud to say that we are
Welcome back. Now for the details. We start off with some cricket news. The West Indies batsman Marlon Samuels has strongly disagreed with the statement from the West Indies ODI captain Dwayne Bravo, who said that the Jamaican had given consent to standing by any decision taken by the team, including abandoning the tour of India. In an interview with ESPN Cricinfo, Samuels pointed out that all three parties, the players, the WICB and the West Indies Players Association, WIPA, had handled the situation inappropriately, but directed scathing criticism at Wavell Hines, saying that WIPA president was the real reason the situation became messed up. This is the second time in less than a week that Samuels has expressed a difference of opinion in the public domain against Bravo. In an interview with a radio station last week, Samuels said he spent time ordering room service while the rest of the players were attending meetings as he wanted to finish off the tour. Bravo said he was shocked at Samuels, considering he had participated in the meeting, vigorously asking questions. Incidentally, representatives of all three warring factions met in Jamaica on Monday for cordial and fruitful discussions, as described in a joint statement issued at the conclusion of the meeting. Cameron and Hines were present at the meeting, which also was attended by player representatives Andre Russell and Jason Holder, along with legal counsel. Sources close to the Ghana Football Federation have revealed the names of the 5 members of the Normalization Committee that will now run the affairs of the GFF. The 5 members are Clinton Erling, Dr. Karen Pilgrim, Robin Chandrapal, Stuart May and Tarek Williams, according to creditable sources. As stated by the world governing body of football, FIFA, the persons named have no previous links to football in Ghana. The Normalization Committee was put in place by FIFA after 2 failed congresses by the GFF early in the year. The committee will be tasked with establishing constitutional reforms of all the constitutions of the 9 regional associations, as well as to adopt a new GFF constitution and amend the current one to organize electoral process and run the business of the GFF. Still in football, the East Coast side Victoria Kings last weekend dethroned Manedalust FC to win the 2nd annual GT Bear Berbice Football Club 2014 at the number 5 ground in West Berbice. The details in this report. Victoria Kings ended the reign of last year's champions Manedalust with a clinical performance, clinching the final 2-0 to lift the title and earn 1-year bragging rights. The eventual champs were given the perfect start when the tournament's top goal scorer Winston Pompey gave them the lead as early as the 4th minute when he converted from the penalty spot. The game seemed destined for a 1-0 finish before Sherwin Skeet doubled the advantage seconds from the final whistle. For the win, Victoria Kings received a trophy and $400,000, while Manedalust had to settle for $300,000 and the trophy. East Coast dominance had earlier started when Andrews Grove United whipped New Amsterdam Cougars 4-0 in the 3rd place playoff game. Tournament coordinator Kevin Lane explains the reasons for having the East Coast teams part of this year's competition.
Well, getting the East Coast teams involved is because I want to spread my tournament countrywide. Because in Berbice we only have 4 teams that registered under the BFA. So I had to go to East Coast to get some more structured clubs so that my football could be well organized and get bigger and better as time goes by.
The tournament coordinator was also quick to point out the plans for the 3rd edition of the tournament in 2015.
Well, next year will be the same 1 month, but we go to 16 teams. And we're looking to stretch our hands countrywide to invite some other teams like as far as from Bartica, which I'd wanted to play this year, but because of the purse, we just decided to leave them out because they're coming from a far away.
The tournament, which started on October 4, was a collaborative effort of Starlight Generation and Manedalust FC. And finally, some news from the Inter-Ghana Games. Guyanese athletes left an indelible mark on the 2nd leg of the Inter-Ghana Games last weekend in Suriname. The male cyclists, comprising Alonso Ambrose, Shakil Agard, Akeem Arthur and Kravitz Jeffrey, won both the team trial and the road race, while the male volleyballers reclaimed the title they last won in 2007. The male and female table tennis teams also made a clean sweep of that competition, while the female volleyballers finished 3rd and the female riders 2nd in both the time trial and the road race. The chess team finished in the runner-up spot, while the badminton team also placed 2nd to Suriname. Guyana did not field a team for the football competition. And with that, we've come to the end of sport, which is sponsored by Mark Rockman. That's a wrap as well in the evening news for today, Tuesday, October 28, 2014. Of course, you can find these and many more stories in tomorrow's edition of the Guyana Times. And here's an invitation to join us on TVG Channel 28 and on Radio Guyana Inc. 89.3 in Essequibo, 89.5 in Georgetown Environs, and 89.7 in Berbice and Unicary, Suriname. On behalf of all of us here, I'm Avinash Ramzan. Thanks for watching.